We don't want to know what lives out here.
So! You were wrong. Osha being alive changes everything. I'll turn myself over to the Jedi.
He'll kill you.
You'd have to find me first.
So our adventure continues with the Acolyte, a show that probably should have never been made because of how horribly written it is. Unless there's some kind of competition we don't know about where people compete to achieve the status of the world's worst writer and destroyer franchises, I think Russell T Davies wins that by a freaking landslide. You can see my latest Doctor Who reviews to understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, Osha was knocked out while this antagonist entered the scene. It's so funny how all the Jedi are just dropping like flies. It's the look on her face when she witnesses one lying in the sand dead. Like, there are multiple Jedi attacking this one person. You could see them in the background there, right? And they are dropping like a bunch of flies in a jar that just had 6 cans of Scorpion Raid blasted all over them. I guess lightsabers only manage to kill people when it suits the plot and not kill them when it doesn't. Also, there are so many Jedi in this area. Like I said, I'm very new to Star Wars, but they've shown the ability to use the Force. So please, can someone help me understand? Why did they stop using it? You would think all of them coming together and using the Force would do something rather than just wasting energy. And you see how they're able to fight, but none of them can hit him with their lightsaber, and they don't use the Force. Hold on. Wait. What in the world? Okay, wait. Hold on, wait a minute. Do my eyes deceive me? Do my eyes deceive moi? Oh my god. Did I just see this guy use his helmet to block a lightsaber's attack and then use his wrist armor to block the other's attack? Yeah, I did. Oh my god. Hold on. Puts up his wrist, boom, blocks the lightsaber and shorts it out, and then uses his head to butt into the lightsaber and oh my god, this is great. Oh my word. Look, now the only thing I know that can do that is Mandalorian Beskar. Is this guy a Mandalorian? And does it, I don't think when the Mandalorian armor comes into contact with the lightsaber that it shorts out the lightsaber. I could be wrong though. There are just so many questions I have, you know? And like, you would think that the Jedi would also have similar armor if they're going to be fighting people with these types of weapons. Even if you don't expect any Jedi to go rogue. You know, just knowing that you're chasing down someone with the ability to kill Jedi, despite them having lightsabers, should be enough to give your people extra armor. How is it that this guy was able to obtain this, but the Jedi can't? Like, this is, you know, look at that. Notice that cops also wear bulletproof vests, despite their weapon of choice being guns. Because even if they don't regularly run into people that have guns, sometimes they might, and they do. Also, what if someone takes your weapon from you and then tries to shoot you with it? Yeah, a headshot would be fatal, but the largest part of your body where people are most likely to hit because it's the biggest target would make sense to be shielded by something that is impervious to bullets. Why did they make the Jedi look so freaking stupid? Look at both of them just standing there like dumbasses trying to reactivate their lightsabers like they don't have the ability to use the Force. Are all Jedi able to use the Force? Or Jedi trained people, whatever? Isn't that one of the staples of being a Jedi? Or is this one of those cases where people are chosen specifically to fill a quota rather than being qualified for the actual job? Also, the choreography is so bad. These people are slowing down to allow the bad guy to hit them, and it's painfully obvious. I go, slice, boom. I'm gonna come in now that the other guy is down. See, even here, it didn't even look like this guy got hit when the villain swung his leg around. I slowed it down because I was confused as to what happened and wondered if he used his force power from his feet because the guy just seemed to fly back for no reason. Look. Like, if you slow it down, you could see that the dude doesn't hit him at all. He's like, whoosh, my feet just kind of skirted. There's like 7 inches in front of his face. He's like, I know the actors don't actually get hit in real life sometimes and are supposed to make it look like they do, like in wrestling, but I've seen much better than this. Even at regular speed, it still looked like the guy didn't get hit at all. You can look. The guy comes around, and you see what I'm saying? It didn't look like he got hit to me, so that's why I was confused. I'm like, was he scared of him or something? Again, nobody is using the Force. How are there 3 people attacking one person and they can't hit him once? Are they even trying to hit him? And no one is using the Force again. And they're swinging so slowly. Look at how slowly they're swinging. The girl comes in And it's like she's waiting. She's projecting and waiting for him to move. She's like, let me kind of slow down here a little bit. It's so stupid. Noticed how he used the Force there? He could have done that the whole time, by the way. The other Jedi could have done that as well. Those were nothing but disposable actors. I'm gonna use the Force when it suits me. Come here, bro. And I guess they can't use the Force to fight back and push against his Force. He just lets himself get impaled. Okay, whatever. Slice both your heads off because you don't need your brains anyway. You're not using them. So Osha sees all this happening and she could have helped, but she watches everyone get killed. Yord is there lying on the floor injured, but I thought his legs were broken, but he can run pretty well after that. So he was just lying here for what reason now? Watching his friends get slain all this time? Did jack shit to help them. So Osha tries to stun the evil dude, but it doesn't work because of course it doesn't.
Osha, run!
Everyone keeps telling her to run like she doesn't know how to move her legs without someone commanding her to. And during this entire time, notice, May did not do one thing to help her sister, whom she cares about, or who she said she cares about. She just stands there watching the whole thing happen with wide eyes like she's dumb. Then she's like, oh my god, no, there's zero urgency. I don't know why I function anymore. I don't know what to do. I know, I'll take the dead Wookiee's lightsaber while Osha runs through the forest for her freaking life. Hold on 1 minute. Lightsabers have the ability to boomerang? See, that's something I didn't know. You learn something new every day, don't you? I mean, if they did have that ability, unless he was using the Force to do it, you'd think that the other Jedi would have thought of this too, right? Since they also have the ability to use the Force. But you know how useful? Anyway.
Civilian to the ship. Civilian to the ship.
Why couldn't he just say her name? Also, now he knows how to use the Force? Why don't you use it for the things that are most important, like trying to defeat the big bad guy who also uses the Force sparingly when it suits him?
What? Yord! We have to go back. You're injured.
Fine. Sol gave me an order. Osha, I don't want to have to subdue you, but I will. Come on.
Why is she waiting until now to say this, though? And because Sol gave the order, she's like, yeah, you're right, let's go. If she really wanted to go back, she could have just gone back. Yeah, he might have tried to subdue her, but at least she would have tried. I mean, she'd seen all those Jedi die, right? Almost every single one of them. Maybe they weren't as strong as Sol, but they were still Jedi, right? Were they not? Were they all Padawans? I'm not really sure what the hell's going on here, but I would think that if they're on this mission to neutralize a very clear and present threat against Jedi themselves, right? Which was the freaking assassin girl, Osha's sister. She was a threat. She killed Jedi Masters quite easily and very quickly. You'd think that they would bring the best of their best to handle this, right? So anyway, they're fighting and Sol says that he senses something familiar. Interesting, he says this and you'll see why. Sol says that the guy carries a Jedi weapon, but he's no Jedi, clearly. Didn't this bitch say she was going to surrender herself to the Jedi? Now she's resisting arrest.
You're under arrest for the murder of Master Indara. The murder of...
I'm sorry, why was she choosing that time to read May her rights? Is that even a thing in the Star Wars universe? You could continue doing that while you're restraining her, but she just freezes in place and do all that as though the person didn't know that's why she was being arrested in the first place. Remember, you did try to apprehend her before she took off, using the Force to do so, which she doesn't do here.
The murder of Master Tobin. Murder of Master Kelnaka. The fire that killed your family.
Again, this woman could have used the Force to put the handcuffs on. You know, with that kind of power, you know how much I'd be using it for? Like, you know what I'd be using it for? I'd be using it all the time. Remember that movie, Matilda, that our teachers made us watch? She used her powers for everything. Unless there's, of course, a very short limit on how much you can use the Force. It doesn't make sense why, in a situation where danger is imminent, that they wouldn't be using it. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but didn't this woman also say she was going to surrender herself to the Jedi? I keep bringing that up because that was something that they focused on.
You trained me. Show your face.
And let you read my thoughts. No, no, no.
What master hides his face from his pupil?
You tell me.
So apparently, he can only read minds, Soul, if he sees their faces, which still doesn't explain why he didn't read the minds of so many other people he could have, like, I don't know, Osha, to see that she was innocent, and the poison guy, which would have ruled out him being May's master. Man, she's trying her best to kill this woman after she said she would surrender herself to the Jedi. What was the whole point of them even showing us that dialogue? Did the writers forget? Surely they didn't, because they even showed it in the recap before the episode started, which is what I showed you before this video started.
Jackie.
Jackie is a Jedi. She can take care of herself. I need to get you to safety. That thing is too dangerous.
Jackie's a Jedi and can take care of herself? Did you not see the buffet of dead Jedi on the ground? Did you not hear Jackie screaming bloody murder? And again, did you miss the population of dead Jedi on the ground? Did you not consider that the person who you went there to apprehend killed Jedi Masters? Masters, very easily, and is now out there alongside this other thing that can kill multiple Jedi at the same time, and somehow you believe that Jackie can take care of herself because she's a Jedi. At this point, Jedi are the most endangered species in the galaxy, so what the hell is logic? So anyway, Saul is kicked, which gives the evil guy an out. I mean, look at how long it took Saul to get up. And he's like, I'm weak, but I'm alone. The dude could have killed Saul in that moment in time, but whatever.
What is he, Yord?
I don't know. He doesn't follow the rules of combat, and there's no method to his movements. It doesn't make sense.
Why would there be a method to his movements? Is it possible that people just might have different fighting styles or might not have the integrity to follow the supposed rules of combat? I don't know if it's a Star Wars lore thing but like, are there no other alien races that don't necessarily respect the supposed rules of combat when it comes to humans or Jedi? I'm not trying to be cheeky, I'm legitimately asking.
He gets into your head, and he stays there.
My mother could do that. Get inside a Jedi's head. I saw it once.
We have to keep moving.
That's not necessarily what the villain did, though. When did he get into your head? And if you had the ability to do exactly what Osha's mother did, or the guy had the ability to do that, then why didn't he just do it with everybody immediately? Furthermore, again, why didn't he kill Yord when he had the chance for walking off to chase Osha? So May thinks she's got this person dead to rights. Why does this woman look like freaking Aegon from House of the Dragon? Like, I almost thought they were the same people for a second. My man is so good at stealth and using the Force. Did we forget how he freaking flew in? Remember the last episode, how he glides in like a freaking owl hunting a mouse in the darkness? He is an extreme master at stealth, it appears, and using the Force in that way that he can freaking make himself fly or descend with poise. But yet he chooses to run up on this woman. Why? Why do we see characters making decisions in previous frames only to contradict themselves to their own detriment in the very next? Anyway, the guy's like, May, you can learn from this Padawan because she's a loyal pupil, which is a slide at May because she betrayed him. And here's the thing, Jackie's a Padawan, which is a step lower than a regular Jedi, right? Yet she's stronger and was able to hold her own than most of the Jedi out there combined, or most of the Padawan, whatever. And from what I gather, what you guys said a Padawan is a Jedi in training, and what you guys said is they're strong, but not as strong. But like looking at her fight and how she was able to hold her own, she very may well be on the same level as a Jedi, but is she just not officially stated as one yet? What if they never tell her she's a Jedi? She gets the strongest one. Is she still a Padawan? Do you have to be sworn in officially to become a Jedi from a Padawan? Who knows? Oh, God. What is this, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones? If she had 2 lightsabers, why did she only wait till now to use it? Yeah, one is the Wookiee, sure. But the minute that I started fighting this guy, I would have used everything in my arsenal, especially if I see he was beating my ass from before. And especially since we see that shortly after, she's actually quite adept at using 2 of them. Jackie's holding her own while May tries to escape while still being handcuffed. And the guy sees her, cuts her lightsaber in half again, and he runs off. He keeps leaving people alive right at the moment when they have the disadvantage and he could easily kill them. Why? It doesn't make any sense. And this is not the first time he's done this. He's done this repeatedly throughout this episode alone. ¿Por qué? So Osha tells Yord to turn off his saber because they're in the forest where there's beetle things were, and they're no longer on the trees. Light apparently attracts him at night. And if you could see very well at night to the point where you don't need the saber after all, why wouldn't they have turned it off in the first place if they're trying to escape the person that wants to kill them, even if Soul is distracting them?
Coward. You are going to betray me.
Forgive me.
Bitch, please. And now we see him getting into people's heads right after old dude over there said that he could. They would have done well to show this earlier on in time to make it make sense why the Jedi or the Padawans or the good fighters were supposedly losing. This is another demonstration of bad writing, and it's seeming as though, like, it just, to me, looks like they're making things up as they go along, but then watch, they'll never use this again after this.
I was weak.
You've always been weak.
This dude broke her out of her handcuffs for what reason? If he was just gonna kill her, why not kill her while she was still in handcuffs? Why do these characters keep making decisions that make absolutely no sense for what their characters were written for? Yeah, and notice how that guy used the Force to pull the villain away. He was right next to May, but he was able to localize the Force so it could only affect the villain. By the way, everyone already knew who the villain was to begin with. We all know who it is. It's the poison guy. I'd actually be more shocked if it wasn't, and they were subverting our expectations this whole time. But anyway, oh my god, it gets worse. So they're fighting him, and they could have used the Force to hold him in place. I mean, the Lego Star Wars game that I played with my cousin, those characters used the Force for basically 90% of the game, and it always felt like a part of who we were. And this was the complete saga. But anyway, the point is, when you have power like that, you use it at every turn strategically, but they don't do that here. The most important parts where the characters should be using it, they just don't. So anyway, the dude chases May, and he's acting as though he can't find her later like he did in the last episode. Like, he could have killed the Jedi. He killed so many of them, but can't handle a Jedi and his Padawan. He successfully killed a Jedi Master before, but he can't handle the other guy, but whatever. Osha can hear May's voice in her head.
What is it?
We have to go back.
Please, don't.
He's gonna kill them. He's gonna kill them all. Follow me.
Really? This guy who was so knee-tight in his creed, who follows orders without wavering, 3 times the charm, all she had to do was say it 3 times, and then you're like, no, we have to go back. I want to keep you safe, but he's gonna kill all of them. All right, you didn't know that from before. You didn't know that from witnessing the plethora of dead bodies of your Jedi friends. Like, none of this makes any sense. For the character, it makes no sense. And notice, remember how I'd said you would see why I was making fun of him being injured and lying down and watching his friends get killed in front of him? Notice how he's walking pretty well and able to run after her and follow her. So he clearly was in good shape enough to help fight his friends, but no, he watched them get slayed in front of him.
No!
So he had 2 lightsabers this entire time as well. And oh my God, guys, gasp. We totally didn't see it coming that it was the poison guy. Oh, sacre bleu. Oh my goodness, did you guys see that coming? I surely didn't. Jackie's the only person that I feel bad for because she was a badass and an actual likable character. And if the mask is so important that this guy needs it so the other guy doesn't get in his head, why wouldn't he just make haste and put it back on his person?
Was that its name?
She was a child.
You brought her here. Hello.
Bro, everyone knew it was you. I like how charismatic he is. I mean, I already knew he's so cute. I know, he's a villain. Still cute though. But they play him up to be super dangerous, even though his character is written stupidly, nonsensically making decisions that directly contradict what he would have done or how he was written to be.
Hello. You really didn't know this?
It took that old man that long to get the cloak off his face. Look, he threw his jacket on Soul. Whoosh! Look at that. And then it takes him this long to drag this girl over, and Soul takes that long to take the jacket off. Someone throws something towards me. It's supposed to be an instant reaction. And again, why does Soul not use the Force? He just sits there watching all of this happen. Jesus Christ, these people are so useless.
You really didn't know this me. Not even deep down?
Mind you, this is the guy that asked Soul not to do the mind thingy. And they were already suspicious of him because he'd been working with May and sold her poison to kill the Jedi that they had just found dead or what have you. Or were gonna find dead, whatever the case is. And Soul chose not to use his mind thing on him, and now here we are. That is one of the very rare cases I would say you probably should use your mind thing on him, since he's, I don't know, admitted with his own mouth to being an accomplice to a freaking murderer?
You attacked me while my back is turned? Not very Jedi of you.
What are you?
I have no name, but a Jedi like you might call me Sith.
It was so anticlimactic the way he said it. I'm guessing evil Jedi or people with Jedi powers or choose to use the Force for evil are called Sith Lords. Like I said, don't know much about the lore, but I already gathered that from this with the whole red lightsaber and Darth Vader type theme going on with this guy. So he says he just wants freedom to use his powers and train pupils the way that the Jedi do. Look at my beautiful face. See them lips? Give me what I want.
I want a pupil, an acolyte.
So he's mad because he got exposed, but you kept yourself exposed and you brought yourself there to be exposed. So it's actually your fault. He said, and the Jedi say I can't die or I can't exist, and if they see my face, they die. But the speech is cut short. Yeah, you. If you had the balls to challenge your superior, you would have asked him to use the mind thingy on that guy, but you just follow people blindly. That's what happens when you do that. And if he had the ability to use the Force to retrieve the mask, see, this is where the writing falls apart. The villain's talking about being exposed. You could have used the Force to put it back on your face. You wanted to be exposed. Let's be honest.
Surprise.
Okay, that I was not expecting. Threw him away like Superman threw away Batman.
It doesn't need you. Do you bleed?
Clark? Clark. Please.
That was so so disrespectful. What he did. I cannot get over that. Oh my god. That's how he threw Yord. It's like, dude, you are so annoying. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Once again, May seeing all of this is like, I'm gonna run away. That's what she does most of this episode, by the way, because of course she does. Her sister's like, I'm not gonna let you get away this time, blink. And she falls off of whatever she falls off of. And Yord's... Yord is not here right now, and I don't think he'll be returning. You would think I would feel a hint of basal sympathy for these characters, but I don't. I honestly don't care about any of them. The only one I really would feel very bad for, aside from Jackie, which I don't care that much about either, to be honest, she's just the more likable one out of the entire show, is Saul, because I like him in Squid Games, and that's it. I don't want to see the actor die, even if it's just being portrayed, because he seems like such a sweet person, but the character itself, they can get fucked. Ew, what is he, Butcher from The Boys? It's so freaking weird. It's like, oh, let's just make the crazy face that Butcher from The Boys does because it's funny and it makes me look unhinged. It's so out of character for him too that it just doesn't fit. I felt like they just wanted him to do it just for the sake of doing it. I felt like the director was like, you know what would be cool? If you looked like Butcher. Go do that look, even though it doesn't fit your character at all. Oh, so now Soul is beating him to a pulp because he's all of a sudden super angry now? Did someone forget to use the Force? Sorry, I'm being loud. I just want you guys to feel as perplexed as I do right now, wondering why these two creatures that have the ability to utilize a weapon of telekinesis aren't using it. I am so confused. Why stop Soul from killing him? Dude has killed so many people. And what if you stopping Soul from killing him right now gives the person enough time so they can drive a lightsaber that he is hiding up his cheeks or something into Soul's whatever? Then what would you have done? You would have caused his death indirectly by distracting him. I hate these people who are so stupid. Like, they're taking the leads from Spider-Man and all that stuff. I hate this holier than thou self-righteous stance that a lot of these freaking characters have in these movies, where you can see a serial killer, serial violator, woman devourer of flesh and insides, and someone's about to give them a death sentence, and the good characters, the supposed heroes, stand at the cusp of their holy armor with their holy sword on high, poised towards the heavens, saying, "No, you shall not kill the serial killer. We're better than him, so let him free." Like, it makes no freaking sense. Like, we'll shoot rabid animals that can't control going around and hurting people and risk killing them with a disease that we have a vaccine for, but you don't want to put to death someone who's actively trying to kill people and has killed all of your friends? Why? And aren't the Jedi, don't the Jedi have the jurisdiction to do stuff like this? Don't they have the relegation to dole out punishments and sentences against people who are a threat to the realm? No? Then what the frick is their purpose? Because so far, from what we've seen, it's just to be a nuisance, and in this episode, to die. Because that's all they're good at doing.
You are superior in only one respect.
What is that?
You are better at dying.
Osha. This is your master. You trust him, even after everything he did to you.
His mind is twisted by darkness.
I've accepted my darkness. What have you done with yours?
You would think that being the bad guy and all, knowing that this guy has something he hasn't told Osha, and he seems to imply that he knows exactly what that is. So what would stop him from telling Osha? Oh, let me guess. So the audience can be left in suspense for drama's sake, right? Even though it makes absolutely no sense why at this moment in time, the bad guy would continue keeping it a secret.
So,
I like how these things are attracted to lightsabers, yet they take their sweet, sweet time coming down on Soul when he has his erected. But anyway, he gets the message and he hides or sheathes his lightsaber. And just like clockwork, we know that the bad guy is going to unsheath his just at the right time we need him to, so that the bats can come. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. I just love how everything just falls into the hands of the main characters just when we need them to. Also, the villain had all that time, as you see here, to use the Force to bring his lightsaber to him. He never once does that. He's shown that he can boomerang his lightsaber, so why is it that when Soul had his lightsaber to his neck, he did not call his lightsaber to him using the Force so it can go through Soul's body? Okay, let's just say that he needed to have a hand on it in order to activate the lightsaber. He could have done that anyway and then activated it so many times. So it's either he wants to kill Soul or he doesn't. I like how some of these villains also, in one moment, they're screaming bloody murder at the person that they're fighting, and then when they have them dead to rights, they kill them, like, or they're planning on killing them, but ooh, someone comes in to save the day, then their person is at a disadvantage again, and then they decide to do a speech instead of acting on killing them, which is what they were planning to do in the scene before. But because no one's there to interrupt now and save the good guys, now the villain's like, well, I gotta wait till someone's here to save you before I can do anything to you, so I'm just gonna talk instead.
I love you.
Are you kidding me right now? Okay. So this random civilian is doing all this mess behind him, and she's able to sneak up and run on him when nobody else could, and he still doesn't use the Force. She is so fast and perfect at what she does that she's able to stick the light on him, and it stays without dropping off. Then he uses his lightsaber and is like, whoosh, and somehow has lost his ability to fight when he was dodging people left and right and able to hit them. But now, because it's the main character, I'm gonna swing super high, even though you're smaller than me. Like, I don't get it, bro. And it almost looks like the way the CGI is done, the lightsaber arcs over her head. See, it's coming down, it slightly goes up, like in a curve, and then comes down this way. It's just doesn't seem to fit in the way his hands are being positioned. But I'm nitpicking. Don't worry about me. And this is the foolish part. I cannot stand this writing of this so-called show. He can fight off a mob of Jedi with lightsabers, but can't fight off some alien moths? Also, have you noticed? My brethren still did not use the Force. It's like he's forgotten that he could use it. They play him up to be this catastrophic villain that immediately used the Force against many Jedi that were very trained, and then never does that again, especially in a situation it would behoove him to do so. I have a serious question. Please forgive me. I know I'm annoying with these questions. I actually do want them answered. So it would be very nice if people would take the time to answer, because I'm very curious. Does the Force only work against Jedi or something? Does it have also a power cap of how many times you can use it before it's depleted? Why is it that he never uses it again? Or any of these Jedi never use the Force again? They use it once, and then a whole half hour goes by before they're able to use it again. Why did the bad guy not use the Force to put back on his mask so that the good guy couldn't read his mind or get in his head? And when his mask was off all this time, even though this guy presumably has the same powers, sort of, why did Saul never try to get in his head after the mask has been off his face for all this time? So anyway, he's carried into the air by the moths, but we know he's not dead because we didn't see him die. And Osha's like, what did he mean by that stuff? Why shouldn't I trust you? What did you do? Never mind, he could have been saying something for the sake of turning you guys against each other because, I don't know, he's a freaking villain. He says, I'll explain everything. But little too late because May is there and she stuns Soul, and so she can take Osha with her.
Osha, what have you done? I did what I needed to do. For you. For our family.
Lock her in her room and set her on fire? Set the stone and rock on fire? Really? Or tell us how that was all a lie.
Everything you've ever done has been for yourself. All of these lives lost tonight. Again, all because of you. The Jedi got what they deserved. Those Jedi were more my family than you ever were.
If they were more your family, then why wouldn't you even say goodbye to Saul when you were about to leave? He took you in and raised you like a father, and you still treat him like a stranger. Also, you left his body back there.
Have you forgotten who we are? Where we come from? They invaded our home. Invaded? Hey, no. You were the violent one. You started that fire. And I would have been dead too if it weren't for the Jedi. They brainwashed you.
I surely hope that's what's happened, because it would have made more sense if the dude that has the power to go inside people's heads, but yet he never uses the power, altered her memory somehow so she remembers it differently. But then that would contradict his character, wouldn't it? Why would he turn Osha against her sister? Why would he give her such a traumatic memory by making her believe that her sister is the one that started the fire?
They've turned you against me. But it's okay, Osha. I can help you. I can help you return to yourself. I love you.
That's why you stood in the house and let her get beat around and try to do nothing to help when the Sith Lord, your trainer person, mentor, started raining down fire and brimstone on everyone? You didn't even got there and try to get her to safety. You just sat in there and watched. There was no inkling, based on what we saw, that she was even terrified for her sister's life. She saw that her sister was helpless out there, which is strange because Osha said that she was also trained in the way of the Jedi. So doesn't she have some ability to fight as well, but she's acting as though she has none of that whatsoever. This twin sister has a weird, warped sense of love, which is strange because she was always the proactive, dangerous, and aggressive one. She was the one that knew how to block and take action when it came to certain things. She dedicated her entire life to avenging her family because she loved them so much, but yet we're to believe this is the same character that would stay inside the house and watch her sister get rocked. Especially now that your sister is alive, you know she's alive, and you never want to lose her again. I'm not even saying she should have gone out there and fought her mentor or her lord, but she didn't even go out there and try to haul her off to safety, like take her body and drag her off somewhere safe. So the May is like, all we have is each other now, and Osha's like, no, wait, you're a criminal. You gotta pay for your crimes. Look, I get it, but there's such a thing called tact. I think if she was like, okay, let's go. Try to convince her somehow through love. Laying it on a little thick never seemed to work for her sister, so why would you exercise? You can't even fight as well as her, so what did you think you were doing?
Let's pay for your crimes. What are you doing? What I came here to do. Arrest you. Don't do this.
Weren't you the one that wanted to give your... Oh my goodness. She did say to the poison guy that she was going to turn herself into the Jedi, did she not? Everything changes now that her sister's alive. Isn't that what she said? What happened to that?
You did this to yourself. You followed a false master. So did you.
She didn't follow a false master, though, going around and killing everyone, did she? You did that.
Leave Saul out of this. He stole you from us. He saved my life. And what kind of life is that, huh? A life without purpose? Without love? Without family?
It's rich her saying this, considering how many people's lives she's turned upside down and have harmed in the process of her trying to kill these Jedi. She's talking about love and without family, but you're living the same kind of life, stuck in this vengeful loop. Needless to say, she thought you were dead this whole time. Meanwhile, you're in a rage, void of love and family, doing exactly the same thing and hurting other people. Did you even ask her if she had love or a family? Seems very manipulative, which is probably what they're going for.
He led you nowhere.
Did she hit her head on a rock or something? Okay, maybe it's the way she fell. And now all of a sudden she can use the force. Oh, so you can move people's bodies. So it's almost like you could have gone out there and hid behind a rock and used the force to pull your sister's body to safety somewhere. But let's not address that at all. Let's only use this force sparingly and one deems so. Otherwise, this episode and this entire series probably would be half its runtime.
You never could block.
Wow, what in the freaking cringe. Because who didn't see that coming? And she was going to cut off her hair so she could pretend to be the other twin. They do this in every single production like this. If I had $1 for how many times they did the whole switcheroo twin thing, I'd be so rich, I could own an entire solar system.
Get out! Get out!
At least they set it up better in Alien Covenant and had the guy cut his hair ahead of time, not right when he was gonna assume control. And of course, old dude ain't dead. Also, if he had the ability to glide into the air, okay, let's just say even if he was using the Force to soften his descent or his fall, I could list so many ways that would have been useful in a fight if he was strategizing. Also, did he want them to think he was dead? That's the only way that last scene would have made sense. Then, of course, the beaver thing is still tracking, and shortly after, it's like, ooh, well, I'm a stiffin', so I'm gonna find.
Saul, are you all right?
Where is she?
Who?
Your sister.
She's gone. We must get to the ship. Here. Let me help you.
Oh, wow. She is taking a huge risk knowing that Soul can read minds, but then again, he sparingly uses that power anyway. Also, I don't know if these people don't know how hair works, but if you cauterize or like cut hair off with something extremely hot, it's still going to look very flat at the ends. It's going to look like something seared through it, especially if you have dreads. But let's ignore that. Hair also burns. And even in, let's say these were extensions and it was like yaki hair or something, they would look melted at the ends. If it's actual her hair and it's not some weird stuff she put on there to make it look like this, they're gonna look kind of trashy at the ends. But it just looks all smooth, like they just grew in and curved over naturally, like her locks have been like that for many months, because that's how hair works.
We must help you.
Let's go.
Also, what happened to May's mission to then give herself to the Jedi and turn herself in? I know you guys probably been taking shots with how many times I asked that, but I legitimately want an answer to this because I'm so confused. Why does she keep flip-flopping her motivation? Okay, she found out that her sister Osha was alive and made the decision that she was going to give herself up and turn herself in. And then what happened to that? Also, they're heading back, but look, they just give a cursory glance at the people that they love, or Soul doesn't know that this is May, so they're making it seem. But this man is just ignoring the fact that a bunch of his friends just got mowed down. For crying out loud, their corpses are lying only a few feet from you. And you don't give them so much as a second glance or say something over them or close their eyes or give them some kind of respect. The only thing we saw was him getting mad for a few seconds and after he wanted to kill the Sith Lord or Sith guy or whatever the hell he is, but you don't even take a minute to say something to honor your friends? If you really believe this is Osha, what example are you setting for her? What the hell? As far as he knows, the danger is past. And so old man Soul, who's supposed to be the good guy, you're just gonna disrespectfully leave all your friends there to rot out in the open like that, not even putting some of their fabric over their face. Wow. The people who wrote this have some serious ethical issues when it comes to relationships, because Jackie was seen as a loved character and Yord was seen as one of the main characters, but yet let's just pretend they just stop existing. Also, she could have killed Soul right there and then, so why didn't she? Like I said, whatever. The otter is still tracking her, but the other thing I wonder too, why leave your sister in a dangerous forest? She's unconscious. Why leave her in a dangerous forest by herself where the guy is still out there? I mean, maybe she thinks he's dead, but still, this is a dangerous forest. That was the heavy implication before having gone in there. And you just leave her like that. What if she's out for the whole day and the whole night and those moth things come back?
What extraordinary beings we are. Even in the revelation of our triumph, you see the depth of our despair.
So I'm guessing the evil Sith guy either thinks this is May, and he's like, I'm gonna forgive you, but chances are he knows it's Osha, and he's gonna use her as a pupil and try to start from scratch or something. And what, she's just gonna magically follow him? Now, being my perverted self, I would take this as a fan fiction and make it into some romance or something, because I know there's some girls out there doing that already. Am I wrong? You're like, she's gonna be so disgusted by him, and he's not gonna see her as human, but then they're gonna fall in love, and she's gonna win his heart and fix him. Like, there's a market for that. That's why we make those things. But anyway, it's also this type of show, so I would not put it past them doing something as stupid as that. Good lord, the writing is something. The only thing that's great about this right now is the Squid Games guy is very sweet, even though they're butchering his character and his face, and this guy is very nice to look at. I mean, look at them. His jaw is pregnant with its own set of jaws. Like, look at that shit, bro. Look Maxing Ware. The writing was so horrible, dude. I still, you know, after having watched the finale of the 14th Doctor, like, I can't even really complain because I have never seen atrocious writing at the magnitude at which I saw it at that freaking finale. So I'll kind of give this a pass. And it's kind of wholesome watching the two Tony Sopranos over here having a game of whatever the hell it is they're playing. So that was nice. Anyway, what did you guys think about this episode? What do you think I was nitpicking about? Wait, nitpicking? What is a nitpicker? Like, I know what it means, but it just occurred to me. The name came from somewhere. Nitpicking. Someone was picking nits. The frick is a nit? Actually, let me look that up. Ew. Ew, that's disgusting. So people actually, like chimpanzees at some point pick... No, don't want to go there. I just ate. Anyways, can't get worse than this, right? I feel like that's a challenge that Disney always takes after every episode of their shows or movies. How much worse can we make this? That's what we're tuning in for, to see how much hotter the fire can burn. Anyways, don't forget to braid your back hair.